We're starting off high.
So we can get
I think
two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
Trust a human to raise a pack of wolves.
before I would trust a pack of humans to raise a wolf.
Right. I hear you. Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
That's different. Good evening.
Gotta change it up once in a while, you know?
Yeah, mix that up every now and
Right,
again.
right. I see a belt hanging up behind you. Does that mean that you actually won the title again, back to back? Okay. So you're just keeping it warm for somebody?
Yeah, I'm just waiting until, that season starts so we can, announce it and do it proper.
All right. Fair enough.
But yeah, somebody did win, and I won't tell you who.
You should do that at the end of the season, heading into the Super Bowl.
Well, we did. I think we added that as the.
Oh, was that the last one?
Yeah, I think, or the playoffs were. I'd have to check the books. I was just counting. Right, it doesn't really.
All right, fair enough. How you been, man? How's the week?
I mean, it's over.
Yeah.
Wasn't nothing spectacular, nothing that stood out, nothing too amazing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no. Nothing that stands out in particular. It was just a week,
Yeah. Well, I spent the week interviews all over the place, which was fun. It was a good experience.
That's what's up.
And then playing the new Zelda game, man. That Breath of the Wild or that Tears of the Kingdom got me big. I think I've beaten 2 out of the, I don't know, I think it's 4 at least dungeons to start, and then we'll see what happens after that. But the game is hot. Yeah.
That's a Nintendo exclusive, though, ain't it?
It is. Zelda is up there with Mario in terms of doesn't go anywhere but Nintendo. But good time on that. I think I talked about it last week. Beat Jedi Survivor. Did go see the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie over the weekend. That was hot.
I heard good things about that as well.
Yeah, it was interesting. So Andrew's mom and I talked about it beforehand. Like, is this something that Andrew can go see? Because had heard through the grapevine that it was a little much. I went and saw it, and I tell you what, man, the first 10, 15 minutes had me cringing at different points. Between how they were experimenting on Rocket, but more so than that, the first battle scene looked like some stuff out of an Evil Dead movie. It was graphic. It was Nebula, the blue daughter of Thanos, gets messed up in the first fight scene, and she does that thing where her joints are all pointing the wrong way, and then she re-articulates herself. Oh, it made me shudder. So We'll wait for that one to come to streaming before Andrew gets to see it, and we'll go ahead and put the we'll probably fast forward through that first 10 minutes. But other than that, solid movie. I mean, it's a lot less jokey than the other Guardians movies, and it does a good job of really just like following them through different losses in their life. And from that sense, it's a lot more emotional than the Guardians of the Galaxy movies typically have been, because they've been very slapsticky.
Right.
This one's a little more serious, and they still, I mean, of course it's Marvel, so they still get their jokes in, but the jokes actually feel like part of the story, not just a joke for joke's sake. So I like it when movies do that. The other thing that I caught that you may want to check out if you haven't already, because it's for free on Prime, is Air.
Oh no, I haven't. I just heard that it was on Prime yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, I think I popped it on. It was either Monday or Tuesday morning, and like figured I'd just have it on in the background while I was working on something else, and I ended up watching the whole thing. And you know, it's weird having a movie about Jordans that doesn't have Jordan in it.
Right.
But I thought it was pretty well done, and it's your typical, I mean, in a lot of ways, your typical Matt Damon, Ben Affleck movie, but it was good to see them both on screen again. You know, they aged up Matt Damon, and I don't know whether it was makeup or if he's put on weight or if he put on weight for the role, but he did not look like pretty boy Matt Damon that we know.
Shit.
So that ended up being
by the time.
That ended up being a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I didn't think it would be bad by any means, but I didn't think you could do that movie without Jordan and have it be interesting, and I thought they did a good job with it. So that was the other movie or entertainment thing that I got into this week.
I seen they released White Men Can't Jump, the reboot on
I heard about, I think I saw a trailer for it. Is that Hulu or is that like Peacock or something?
On Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. It was all right. But I noticed something.
What'd you notice?
And I kind of got my invert based off of that.
Okay.
Like, and this is without any, well, I guess it is somewhat spoiler, so if you haven't seen it.
The original or the new one?
The new one.
Okay.
So I'm watching it, and all I'll say is it was a good movie. It's just funny to me how everything ends up happily ever after.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that wasn't how the first one
ended, right?
Yeah. And it got me thinking, like, that's because, and I think that's why we're going through what we're going through now, because back in the day, like in the 80s and 90s, people would tell you that your feelings don't matter. You know what I'm saying? People would tell you, not that they don't matter, but you know what I mean? Nobody cares about your feelings.
You know, it's funny you bring that up, like, and this started while we were in probably our late teens, early 20s, but even to the point where my head coach at CMU used to kind of pull us aside and be like, it's not like it was when I was coming up, boys. There's a lot of feelings out there.
Right.
We live in a very touchy-feely society. That means no touchy-feely.
Now, here's the thing. Here's where I'm going with this, though, because it's not like I almost empathize a little bit more with the people who are breaking down.
Yeah.
Nowadays. Like, it almost feels like the Grinch, where it's like his heart grew a little bit more that day.
2 sizes.
But what I'm getting at is, back in the day, they told you that straight up front. We had sayings like, sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Right.
Or break my bones, but you know what I'm saying? Because people would talk shit and it was your job to get over it.
Right.
So fast forward to now where everything has to be happily ever after, because Woody Harrelson lost Rosie, what was her name? Rosie Perez.
Yeah.
Lost her in the first one. They broke up. She left him, right?
Right.
And then to add insult to injury, she went on to win Jeopardy. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They broke up, split ways. Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson.
Right.
Everything was, so let's just go to say this one doesn't work that way.
Gotcha.
In fact, everything
wonder,
is completely opposite. Now,
I wonder if that's tied to the fact that it's a nostalgia drip. You know what I mean? Meaning, I don't know. Like, because they're revisiting something that was done previously, you have to subvert it to some extent, right? Otherwise, why is it interesting? But
yeah, otherwise it is the exact right.
But I am with you. Like, I can think of, I don't know, like one movie in the last 15 years that like stuck with me because of the sad ending, and they rectified it immediately in the next movie. And it's
the Avengers.
Yeah, it's Endgame. Like that one where everybody kind of fades to dust at the end of Endgame. Like, I can't think of another movie that has ended on a note that is that sad in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't either. I haven't seen them all, but
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
but
even Rocky in the first Rocky lost. It wasn't until the sequel that he got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's lost a few times.
Right.
But I guess what I'm getting at with my whole thought around it is now that everything has to be catered to everyone's feelings.
Yeah.
Nothing's really changed.
Well, and I think
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people still feel that way that they felt back in the day. Like, yeah, I want to, mind your feelings, but I really don't care. Like, I'm just like not trying to hurt them, but I really don't care about your feelings. So people are like sinking because it's like, what would you rather? I would rather the real over the fake. I would rather you let me know you don't care. You're just here to do your job. Perfectly fine with me. At least we know where we stand. But I don't want somebody who fakes like they're there for you, but deep down feels the same way as that person. But they can't say that because of the society that we're in. So everybody seems like it's fake. It's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I get you.
Like, you don't know what's genuine at that point.
Well, and we talked about this a little bit with, the 2016 election. Like, great. Now I know who's who. Like,
no, that's a perfect example. I actually thought of that.
I'm not mad at you for it. I'm just glad I know.
I actually thought of that example when I was thinking about it earlier, and that's the perfect example.
Yeah.
And I empathize with that, right? Because if that's all you know, like if you grew up in a society like this, then of course it's going to be free because nobody knows what love is. Nobody knows because everybody says it, you know what I'm saying? But how many people really mean it?
Right.
And if everybody that portrays like they really do it fake like, then you don't really know
you're not able to
what to trust when the real light comes along.
Yeah.
So of course, that distances you, that, separates you. You get more depressed people. I get it now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's all from the fucking, I'm not saying it's all from the movies, but you know what I mean? They blame rap music for years, blame the fucking movies.
I mean, plenty of people have blamed Disney for tilting people's view on, like, romance and love. Like, plenty.
But I feel like that's also on That's also on the, I hate to say it, but the same people that, fall victim to all of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Because some people just want something to, because at the end of the day, that's fucking entertainment.
right.
What about all the fairy tales that you were watched back in the day?
Well, and the thing is that trips me out is the fairy tales as happy stories is really only something in like the last 50 years, the last 60 years. Because the stories that those fairy tales are based on, in a lot of them, they don't end happy.
But even back in them Disney movies, they may have had sad scenes in them, but it usually ended happy.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But the stories that those were based on, like, and I would need to do research to kind of make sure I don't misspeak on this, but like, Cinderella doesn't end in a happy way. Snow White doesn't end in a happy way if you go back to like the original folklore from the country of origin, most of them, Russia, Eastern European. But like a lot of those stories do not end in a happy way. But the Disney-fied versions, yes, they all end happy. I agree with you on that. What's interesting is those stories used to be told to keep kids in line.
Right.
And to keep them from acting bad because something bad would happen to them. Nowadays, kids see a movie like that, and it's like, oh, it doesn't matter because everything works out in the end.
That's the truth.
So, yeah, I hear you on that. That makes sense.
I mean, but they've been saying shit like they've been, putting shit in the movies for years, and some of it's been blatant, and some of it is deep down in there, and I don't think that people have.
You're talking about the phallic structures in the Little Mermaid, or the fact when Raja lays down, the dust says sex in the middle of it. What's the other one? There's a couple of them that sneak into Disney movies.
Oh, it's a lot with Disney. They complaining about the motherfucking portrayal of love that needed to be. Asking them why they putting all that bullshit in the cartoon.
Right. What was the other one? Oh, maybe the sex is from Lion King, and then Aladdin with Raja laying down.
Stars.
Raja was. Oh, the teenagers take off their clothes. There's like a whispered voice in it if you turn up the audio.
It says what?
All the teenagers take off their clothes. Shit's trippy, man. I've gone through and I've validated these ones. Those three are ones that I've gone back and like said, "Oh no, that's real."
What the fuck are they on?
I don't know.
Maybe that was an accident. Maybe he was talking to somebody. I hope not.
Just snuck in the audio.
Right, and he didn't know that part.
I didn't know we had a hot mic here.
On. Right. He had the mic on right there. He ain't know that, but she leaned on mute, and he didn't know that they was about to use this evidence to convict you.
Right. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's wild.
It is
but
wild.
I mean, yeah, they've been saying that about the, and like I don't think that they had any, people have ill intent with trying to make movies in like that. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't, right? Because when you think about all the bullshit that goes on in the world that we live in, of course it'd be nice to have something to brighten your day up, right?
Yeah, and I think some of that too is it's the big studio movies, right? It's the ones that are done by committee, done to be multi-million, billion-dollar revenue films. Like, you want to give people a reason to go and a reason to come back, and typically, if you watch a movie that's good but sad, you don't go back to it immediately, right? You get that, get that catharsis of, "Whew, that hit me. I appreciate that for what it was. I'm not in a hurry to revisit it." Those don't sell well, but a lot of times those are the best movies. And nowadays, you find those as like the independent movie on Netflix or whatever.
Right.
It's by some director you've never heard of, or it's some big director's passion project and has nobody you recognize in it. Like,
no, I agree.
so
I mean, but what do you do?
well, I mean, to your point, I
You
like
get the
going to the
people what they
movies.
want.
I like going to movies. I like going to movies for the escapism, to feel good, like to laugh, to smile. There's not a lot of that in this world.
Right. Right. But see, I guess it's I don't want to be like harsh.
Yeah.
But it is at the end of the day, it's the children and the weirdos.
Yeah.
That attach themselves so deeply that they would complain about something like Disney's portrayal of love in their romantic comedies. Like,
well, it's the same. I don't know, man. Like the flip side of that is I do think we've moved in a better direction with, say, like advertising, where advertising and the media portrayal of both men and women, but the focus is always on women. Like the unrealistic expectations set because of supermodels or models or whatever. I think that the push towards more inclusion in terms of like body type, skin color, all of that has been good for us as a society, because I do think it's important for people to recognize themselves in the media that's around them. Now, I hear you on the we're coddled. But at the same time, like teen eating disorders, bulimia, that kind of stuff was and probably still is, like a big problem.
I'm sure.
But, and I'd be curious to see kind of the numbers on that with the trajectory of like the change in advertising. Like even VS, who's one of like the biggest, proponents of no, only supermodels in our advertising. Like even they have changed recently in terms of how they market. And I'd be curious to see if we've seen a similar downtrend in terms of, that child or teen eating disorder, or if it stayed the same because social media is still fucking with everybody.
Listen, social media is the beast.
Yeah.
But even still, I mean, I feel like with advertising, that's a bit different because it's an ad.
It's designed to manipulate.
And beyond that, I don't have to digest it for long.
Yeah.
It's on for what, 30 seconds, 60 at the most.
But the problem is that they hit you with it over and over and
no,
over
that's
again.
the truth. That's the truth. But as far as like in relation to a movie, like what is it that you have a problem with? Like, do you have a problem that they look good, like that they're the ideal man and woman? Because the sad truth is we don't want to look at anything unattractive for that long,
right?
So you can try to put other people in that role to include, but that could affect movie sales,
right? Absolutely.
And then what, are you mad that they bumped into each other in the street? But men and women can't even talk in public anymore. Right. That's harassment.
Rom-coms have totally screwed everything up because you can't do anything that happens in a rom-com.
Now everything is you got mail now, where you got the whole romantic interaction is over a fucking phone or computer device. So I don't understand like what it is exactly that you would have a problem with, that you would get upset to the point of us finding out that people have a problem with Disney's portrayals and shit. Of all the things you have a problem with, that's it. That's where we are. That's where we're at as a world, as a society.
As long as they've got us focused on the surface level stuff, you don't look at the deeper level stuff.
That's crazy.
Amanda chiming in with the chat with, in The Little Mermaid, she turns into sea foam, and Cinderella, the stepsisters cut off their heels or toes to fit the glass slipper. and have their eyes pecked out. So kind of back to what I was saying about the tales that those Disney movies are based on. Much darker in the original material. Speaking of which, doesn't Little Mermaid come out soon? Is that out already?
No, I don't think so. Not
All
yet.
right. And then they're all up in arms because Little Mermaid's black, Cliff. Can't have a little black girl being a mermaid, apparently. Not enough sunlight, man. How's she getting all that melanin?
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, but she could have been out the gates a nice chocolate drop. And that's her pale.
Right.
A nice golden bronze. But
all right, since we're on the Disney movie or on the Disney movie topic, what are your top 3 Disney soundtrack songs?
Oh, that's easy.
All right, what do you got? I can see what's happening.
Yeah, that's number 2 or 3. Number 1 is always gonna be A Whole New World.
All right, I could support that.
Whole New World. That's Aladdin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So A Whole New World with Aladdin. We're gonna put that at number 2.
That's at number 2. So does that mean
Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
3?
Yeah. So what you say was number 3?
Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Or is Can You Feel the Love Tonight 2 and then Whole New World's 3?
No, that's the same one that you started singing.
Those are 2 different songs, bro.
I know. A Whole New World is 1.
Oh, okay. All right, I missed that part.
Tonight is 2.
All right.
And then 3, I would probably say either The Reflection by Mulan.
Ooh. All right.
Or maybe Under the Sea. Yeah, that's gonna be give me that at 4.
Sha la 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 la, don't be scared. You gotta be prepared.
And then what would 5 be? What would 5 be?
Hiya.
Let me think. What's 5? What's a hot Disney EP? What would the 5th be? We gonna throw Cinderella Be Our Guest in there.
That's Beauty and the Beast. But...
No. Oh yeah, that is Beauty and the Beast. No, we ain't doing that. We gonna throw Princess and the Frog.
You're throwing in a couple ones there.
You know, I took the one out, Be Our Guest out, put Princess and the Frog, Evangeline.
Okay.
Yep, that's my 5.
All right. So my top 5, I gotta have, to your point, you gotta have Can You Feel the Love Tonight, and you gotta have Whole New World. Like I think those are in there.
Yeah,
maybe I might flip the 2 because I think you had Whole New World 1, Can You Feel the Love Tonight 2. I'd flip them.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm gonna have to go with the intro song on Beauty and the Beast. Bonjour, 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 bonjour.
You would be European.
There goes the breaker with his bread, like always. I am gonna sneak in at number 4. No, number 4 is gotta be the How Far I'll Go from Moana. That track's hot. And
that is. I didn't even think about that.
I think for the last one, I'm gonna go with an off the wall pick here from a movie that you didn't mention. I can go the distance. I'll be there someday. Fearless, proud, and strong.
What's that?
Hercules. I can go the distance. I think Michael Bolton did the commercial track for that one. So
Fuck Hercules.
Hercules is a very underrated Disney movie. All right.
I wasn't really a fan of it.
The soundtrack is fantastic. It's got a lot of good songs. You've got the Muses that are doing a little bit of like Temptations kind of style R&B.
What about what's the name from the Prince of Egypt?
Ooh.
The Mariah Carey Whitney joint.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I still wouldn't put it in my top 5.
You wouldn't?
No.
I don't know if I would either. I would give it an honorable mention at 6.
All right, so backing us up in the chat, we have Ashley from the block agreeing with A Whole New World being top of that list. Let's see. Ashley also chiming in with Part of Your World from Little Mermaid. So she went a different Little Mermaid song.
Okay.
And then Amanda Holyfield with Poor Unfortunate Souls from Little Mermaid. So a lot of love for Little Mermaid from the women in the chat who are of age that they were, elementary school kids.
They're just brainwashed by marketing and movie because the new one's coming out. And ladies like new things.
Oh, and Ashley chiming in with Prince of Egypt, not Disney. It's DreamWorks.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I figured because they wouldn't do nothing about God.
Right. Not directly, anyways.
And even if they did, I don't know if that's the guy they're talking about.
They did Hunchback of Notre Dame. That counts, right? Notre Dame Cathedral? Fair enough.
And I don't think
was there any good songs in
I don't think
Hunchback?
you can say that anymore.
Oh, no?
I think that's a new no-no.
Oh, Hunchback. That's the name of the movie.
Well, however you get to say it.
I wonder if they've changed the title on Disney Plus.
Nah, I just said that. I'm just.
I think Poor Unfortunate Souls is a good one, and I'm actually excited for that in the new one because is it
Melissa
McCarthy's doing Ursula, right? Yeah, I can see that being hot. You poor
I love her.
Unfortunate souls. It's sad, but true.
I feel like there's more, but I just can't think.
Honestly, the multiple Frozen soundtracks are pretty good.
Is that Disney?
Yeah.
I don't know why I think all those Pixar-looking movies are DreamWorks.
Yeah. No, the only DreamWorks doesn't do a lot of music in their movies. Like that's Shrek, that's How to Train Your Dragon, that's
because what's the name he died?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm just bullshitting. What's
about.
That dude's name? Hey, you got a friend in me.
Randy Newman.
No, he was popping for a while. They had him on everything. They had him on sitcoms. He was on Monk. He was on everything. And then I'm sorry if you didn't die. I wish you a long and healthy life. But
oh, the chat is still going. So there's backup in the chat that Prince of Egypt is not Disney. Jungle Book would be good for Mike to sing. Bare Necessities. I'm just not a fan of the Jungle Book.
I never really was either.
Look for the bare necessities.
Worry about your troubles and your
No Frozen was called out as well by Miss Ashley.
What happened?
I said, and the fact that we didn't have Frozen on the list was called out by Ashley as well.
What you talking about? That one track?
Let It Go?
Let It Go?
That song was everywhere. I actually like the song from the second one.
That don't mean it wasn't overrated.
That's true. Although
it was a decent song, but it was very overrated.
Channing Tatum doing Let It Go from Frozen in the what was that show? The lip sync battle. That stuff is hilarious. Almost as good as The Rock doing "I Stay Out Too Late" from Taylor.
I was gonna do the Frozen song for my daughter and my nieces when we was down in Florida, but they shut the damn karaoke down.
Aww. That was a missed opportunity.
I was gonna go out there and kill shit. Like,
well, now's your opportunity, Cliff. What do you got?
I'm like, listen, this is not my opportunity. I need some green tea and tequila to get me right.
Going on that. I hear you. What was the other? I wish I could remember how the main song from the second one goes, because I actually like that song better.
From the second Frozen?
Yeah.
I don't even know that I partake. My daughter was kind of older at that point. I'm sure she's seen it, but it wasn't like a priority to see it with her.
Well, and it wasn't a movie that she just throw on or on repeat or whatever like they do at that certain age.
Yeah, so I don't know that I've seen it. I probably have and just didn't pay attention, but
I will say Frozen and Moana in particular, like that was kind of Disney going back to their bread and butter of like musical movies.
What's a turtle's life? Is that DreamWorks or is that? It's probably not Disney.
I can't even think of what that movie is.
A Turtle's Life, man, that used to be my daughter's favorite fucking movie, and it had the best soundtrack. They had Bruno Mars all through that. They had that.
Nice.
I know you're somewhere out there, somewhere far away. You know what I'm talking about? That shit, man. They had that. Talking to the Moon. That's what that was.
Nice.
And then they had hella shit on that soundtrack. That was the only reason why I didn't mind watching it.
Yeah. No, I get that. A good soundtrack can make a huge difference in terms of replayability.
I used to watch that motherfucker on repeat, and it used to drive me crazy.
See, I will say that I don't know that there was anything that he watched on repeat that I didn't like. I didn't at least like, or couldn't at least tolerate.
That's having a boy
versus
too.
A girl, yeah.
And that's not me downing having a girl, but
no,
that's having a boy. Like, it's not hard because even Karma would get into shit I would get into. Like, she would sit and stare at UFC or boxing since she was 2 years old.
Yeah.
And would get into it and be pointing and shit. But, like, it's not like, you know, like how boys are dinosaurs, trucks, and, you know, and breaking robots, shit and all kinds of, you know, like, I understand that, all this other shit. Now we can watch shit together, though, because she's older.
Right.
You know, so the shit that she watches, it's like, it's annoying, but I can sit and watch it.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I mean, I hear you on that, like, A-Reg is in the SpongeBob phase, and dude, I have never cared for it. I have never appreciated it.
I wasn't a big fan, but I appreciated it more older than I did younger.
Yeah, and I get that, like, the backdrop of it is that he's high all the time, and it's really, like, stoners love that movie. And,
is
like,
that what that was?
Show, but I can't do that. Like, I can barely get into something like Rick and Morty. Like,
I like Rick and Morty, and I'm not even gonna stunt. Like, one of the people I worked with, one of my bosses, used to recommend it all the time.
Yeah.
I used to be like, "You are a fucking nerd watching that bullshit." I watched it, and I had to come back to him, and I was like, "Listen, I apologize because I did watch it, and I love that shit."
I watched a fair amount of it the last time, and it's been a while, so this is how long it's been. But, like, the last time I visited my buddy Jake in D.C., like, I'm pretty sure we watched, I think that was, like, the 4th season was dropping or something, and we watched, like, the entire thing. But
yeah, I fuck with Rick and Morty, I ain't gonna lie.
The only show like that I can go back to, and even now, like I couldn't tell you the last time I watched anything new, but like up till about 2 or 3 years ago, like South Park still gets me. Like,
I never liked it.
I
maybe when it first came out a little bit for the shock value, but after that, never liked it.
See, I wasn't a big fan of it until it got to like, I don't know, season 8 or something, where they started doing stuff that was more like topical, and that's when like I found it, and I,
not a South Park fan. I like basketball more than I like South Park.
Was that also Matt and Trey?
That's made by the same.
Gotcha.
I like that more than I do not like. But I didn't, like I said, I never watched cartoons as a child.
Yeah.
It was always football highlights, basketball or boxing highlights. It was always sports.
Yeah. See, I grew up on Turtles, G.I. Joe, Transformers.
Yeah, no. I watched the little Ninja Turtles. I was privy to the Turtles, but it was more the movies, the live than action the cartoons. Movies. Yeah. Right.
No, I can appreciate that. And those movies are actually still watchable. Mm-hmm. Like Andrew will put those on sometimes, and I'm like, oh, all right, I can do this. Mm-hmm.
You put the Ninja Turtles on, I'll sit and watch.
Right. Well, and that's actually the that is one, or Transformers is one that's coming out here in a little bit, and like at the tail end of my, I don't know, it was like late elementary, early middle school, and like Beast Wars was the Transformers that was on at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
TV show?
Uh-huh.
Man, hell yeah, I got into that. No, I'm not gonna lie, I got into that.
So Beast Wars, like that's the movie that's coming out in June, is Transformers Rise of the Beasts.
Oh, but it ain't Beast Wars though.
But it is. Like you get Optimus Primal, you get Cheetar, you get like all of those characters are gonna be in this movie. So like I told Andrew, I'm like, we're going. We'll see that, and we'll see Spider-Verse early in June. Because there's a new Spider-Verse movie coming out, too.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's sad, but I think the only Spider-Man I've ever seen is the original.
Yeah, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I know you're not big on cartoons, but you got to give props to the Black Spider-Man with Miles Morales and the Spider-Verse movies.
Well, no, see, that's the thing. I don't really consider those to be cartoons. I know they are nowadays, but I don't really consider those as cartoons. It's something about my mind that just doesn't get with pen to paper as entertainment.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't even have to be pen to paper, like 2D animation.
Yeah.
It's just something, my mind just doesn't get a kick out of it.
And I think that's what's interesting about the Spider-Verse movies is that from a visual standpoint, while they are 2D and they look hand-drawn, like, it is a different style of animation, and it feels almost more comic book-like in how it's presented on the screen and all of that. Which is part of the reason why, like, I'm with you. Like, I don't watch like the DC stuff when it comes out in cartoon form.
I just
don't really
can't
watch
do it.
the Marvel stuff, but that Spider-Verse, that first one was hot, and I'm excited to see the second one because it's also dealing with like all the different.
Oh, you talking about the one where the one where he's like, I make my own choices or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that was okay. That's
Nick Cage comes in and he's like
they did the
Spider-Man, the black
meme.
and white Spider-Man. Yep. Yeah. So I'm excited to see that one. I'm trying to think if there's anything else big that's kind of on the horizon. Did you see that they did announce Dune 2?
Did they?
Yep, coming out. I think November this year.
I'm excited for that.
I'm just scared that I don't know. I hope that this is either the end and that they didn't leave it open for a third one, or that they've already shot the third one or they're shooting it now. Because if they're waiting to see like sales results from the second one, I fear that we will not get a full trilogy out of this. Because while I think it was a very well done movie, I don't think it had the financial success to justify finishing out the trilogy. And if they leave us hanging on 2 movies and they never get to the third, that will be a huge disappointment.
Right, but they still get their money out of that.
I mean, they will and they won't. Like, but I hear you, and
I get what you're saying.
I'm curious to see if it was planned to only be 2, or if it's planned to be 3, and they're waiting from the results for the first 2 to do the third. Like, that terrifies me.
So from the conversation that we had back when it came out, though, that you kind of led me to believe that they didn't get too far along in the story by the end of the first.
Which is why I think that it's a 3. Which is why I think it's a trilogy, and I'm scared that 2 doesn't take us to the end, and we get left hanging, and they never do the third.
Because what would also be awful is if you tried to squeeze it all
into 2. I agree with that.
That would be awful.
I agree with that. Now, it depends on how it was handled.
And how long, I guess.
Yeah.
But that would have to be like a 3.5 hour long movie.
Well, I mean, the first one was pretty long, wasn't it? But yeah, the first one only covered like the first third of the book.
It might have been.
So we'll see. But I was excited to see that, and I don't think I've looked at the trailer for it, but I did see it noted.
But I didn't get my review on White Man Can't Jump reboot.
Okay.
I will give it 3.5
mugs out of 5.
I was about to say 3.4. I'll round it up and give it 3.5 mugs.
All right, so worth watching then.
It was worth watching.
Yeah.
And Jack Harlow didn't do that bad.
Okay.
For his first movie.
Nice.
I mean, it wasn't the best, but he didn't do that bad at all.
All right.
I think I can name a few worse.
Good deal. I'll have to go back and check that one out then. I'm trying to
And it's not that long.
No. See, that helps too.
It's not that long. It was all right. I'm not going to hate on it. Made me like Jack Harlow a little more.
There you go. Oh, the other thing I've been watching, and I need to catch up because I think I'm behind 1 or 2 episodes now. But that Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Prime Video, that's my stuff, man. I love it.
I don't know nothing about that.
So it is about this female comedian in, I don't know, the 50s, 60s. And she is just raunchy as hell, basically ahead of her time. And it's all about kind of her coming up through the ranks.
Okay.
And when they don't fall into the sports drama trap where they get too far away from like what you're actually watching for, like one of the things that one of the reasons I fell off of All American was they stopped doing football.
Right.
Like the last season that I watched of it, I watched half a season and there was no football. And I'm like, then why am I watching this?
Right.
That kind of happened, I think, in season 2, a little bit in season 3 of Mrs. Maisel, but this one has come back and like you've seen her doing comedy in almost every episode.
So this is season 4 then.
I think this is season 4. It's either 4 or 5, but I think it's 4.
Oh, so it's been around a minute. Okay.
It has.
I might have to check it out.
It's one of those Amazon Prime TV shows. I think Amazon Prime has a lot of good stuff that just flies under the radar. Like, I don't think it gets the hype that, you know,
I just haven't
Netflix
been on there in a while.
The other one, and I don't know. So this is a book called The Peripheral, and it's got a lot of wonky kind of like time travel, not necessarily multiverse, but like split off timeline kind of stuff going on. And my feedback on the book was like, I got 100 pages in. I'm like, this book is written in the way that I imagine ADHD feels like, because it like the words jump all over and like it's like 2 pages of one story, then 2 pages of another, and it just keeps going back and forth. The TV show or the streaming show on Amazon Prime hooked me a little bit, and it's Chloe Grace Moretz is the star.
I have no idea who that is.
The little girl from Hit Girl from Kick-Ass.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's the star of the show, and it's hooked me a bit, and it's another one that I think is worth a watch. So if you're looking for something, sounds like the White Man Can't Jump. What? That one is called The Peripheral.
The Peripheral. Okay.
So if you're looking for something, Miss Maisel, White Man Can't Jump, the reboot, and the Peripheral are worth at least checking out.
Yeah, no, that White Man Can't Jump is all right. I know motherfuckers is going to hate on it, but it was definitely decent.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's all you can hope for, right? Like,
right.
Not everything.
It wasn't nothing compared to the first, not at all, but it was decent for sure.
Well, and not everything's going to hit you in the feels the way the last season of Picard did, where they got all the crew back together and you got to see the Enterprise D one last time.
They didn't sign a new contract. They didn't each sign a 1 year.
No, that was a one-shot deal.
I know you cried.
I mean, I teared up a little bit, but that's different though, because I remember staying up late with my dad to watch the series finale of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Right.
And it was not too long before he passed.
Yeah, it hit a little different.
So it's got a little bit of difference in terms of the
no, I get that.
But yeah, man,
I definitely get that.
All right, what else we got? That was a nice tangent off of White Man Can't Jump. Well done. We killed a nice almost hour with that.
Fucking they ruining, they poisoning the youth. They poisoning us and the youth. I don't know why these motherfuckers was so quick to think that COVID was a population control thing. And while it may have been, it may have been a booster, right. But trust and believe these motherfuckers have been doing that for years.
Have you? So, I don't follow local news as much as I probably should. You heard about all this drama that's going on in Short North and how they're talking about basically reenacting like COVID protocols because of gun violence in Short North? Basically saying that bars are being asked to close before midnight.
I mean, that's not going to just be limited to Short North. We are within 2 years
of somebody trying martial law.
That would be the end result of what I was about to say. But pure and utter chaos.
Yeah.
We are within 2 years of pure and utter chaos. And I don't listen. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
It's gonna be real tough. That's all I can say.
Well, I don't know, man. I'm with you. I think that I don't know. I'm trying to think if like there was this sense of I don't know, global anxiety is the only term I can kind of think of. It when we were coming up and we were just too young to understand it, or if things really have gotten like worse or more on edge.
No, they definitely have.
Okay.
Now I'm sure that as far as on a global standpoint, there was always bickering. Because whenever you have million and billionaires that run a country, they want to swing their dick. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm sure we were just as on a high level of tense as a country.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because now that we have social media and everybody can explain it from their perspective, or, we have more access to information to know exactly what's going on. But back in the day, it was on a need to know basis.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like even we as a show, you know, talk about shit. We don't get into a whole lot of speculation unless we doing a wild show. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But think about all the people that do this as well that don't take on that responsibility and just talk wow.
Right.
All you need is a shred of evidence.
Yeah. Because you can find an audience with it.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Like, the 90s, you had the Gulf War. The 2000s, you had the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War. Is America just, like, itching for a fight? And so, because we have nobody that we're actively fighting right now, we're fighting ourselves?
No, they're not itching for a fight. They're preparing for one, and that's what's causing ours.
Gotcha.
They've been spending buku bread on military advancements.
And because they're not actively using those, it's all going to military surplus, and so you're arming local police, you're arming...
And then beyond that, like all that money that could have gone back to the people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
like
absolutely.
All that money that you spent on, all that money that you're now sending to Ukraine, that answers your question right there. They don't want to fight. We don't want to fight. Because if we wanted to fight, we'd have went over there and been like, that's that, both y'all stand back. We holding this line. Nobody's crossing this line, or America's getting involved.
Yeah.
We don't want to fight. We want to spend money. We want to throw money at a situation, but the problem is we don't have money.
Right.
Nobody has money.
Right.
And I'm telling you why it's getting crazy, because I'm damn near about to stop paying my taxes all the fucking together. You better take it out that motherfucking check. That's what you better do.
Right.
Because I'm not paying nothing. I don't have it to give, and you're not doing nothing for nobody anyway.
You're not doing anything to help me, so what's the point at that point?
The fuck? I don't give a fuck if you Wesley Snipes me. At least I got a fucking roof over my head. It's a lot of motherfuckers moving to Cali living in tents.
Right. No.
The fuck? At some point, it's going to get to where prison don't really seem that bad. And then motherfuckers is really going wild out.
So, looking at the chat, Ashley chiming in with WTF, Ohio's worse than NYC right now. The REIT's chiming in with we have no common enemy right now. And then people are getting struck and killed by cars and electric bikes. They're everywhere since they're cheaper to buy and drive than cars and require no insurance. Who
said that?
That's from Ashley in NYC, I'm sure.
Oh, shit. Of course she said that. Of course she said that. I bet motherfuckers is claiming e-bikes up in New York. Like, nah, I only parked this on 5th Street right outside my apartment. This ain't going nowhere else. This is plugged up.
Taking it inside with them to recharge it.
And I put a motion light outside my 5th floor just so if somebody fucking try to take it, I know. And I'll be like, bruh. That's my e-bike down there.
Right.
Why wouldn't you, though?
I mean,
I would take it on the subway with me and everything. I would. I don't give a fuck. This motherfucker come with me.
Walking on. I got
you hear me?
I got it. Get out of my way.
Sitting on the subway seat, just rocking my feet back and forth on my e-bike. The fuck?
Oh, man. I don't know. I've seen a drastic reduction in the scooters over the last year or so.
I still see him parked there. I see him and I be thinking like, I know it ain't no motherfucking charging station around this neighborhood.
Right. Well, the one place where I do see them is on the corner of Miller and Franklin Park. There are always a bunch that are just sitting there.
For real?
Yeah.
Nah, I be seeing them. And you would think like,
I don't see them
know?
getting used as much as the thing.
I don't.
Like, I don't see people on them.
I don't. Is that what the fuck they spending our tax money on? Electric? Get these motherfuckers electric scooters and shut the fuck up. What kind of shit is that?
Right?
What's going on here, man?
I don't know.
I don't get it either, man. All I can say is I'm telling everybody right now, buy a lot of canned food and rice. Buy a lot of canned food and rice. Because I'm telling you right now, you got a year and a half, 2 years to do it.
Yeah.
It's going to get bad out here. Motherfuckers going to be shooting squirrels for food.
I mean, you may not be wrong. We'll see.
I don't really see it being any other way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be different if somebody recognized and chose to stop it.
Right. Well, that comes back to there's no leaders in our generation, and there's no leaders partially because of what you said earlier, is taking it full circle. People are too coddled, and you can't coddle and be a good leader. Sometimes tough love is necessary.
Right. No, I agree 1,000. And motherfuckers paint you different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be a leader, but they all paint you very different once you're gone.
Right. No doubt.
And that gets very hard for the people that come after you that share the same name or, you know, lineage, or know that we're close to that person. So it costs a lot more nowadays to be a leader than it did before.
It does.
And that's by design. Don't get me wrong. That's by design on their end. And it still takes somebody to even stand up to that giant. But I'm old. Who's it going to be?
I did see something on TikTok the other day that was like millennials propping up Gen Z and saying Gen Z is the future because they do have people that are, you know, that are willing to kind of stand up and take a stance and make noise. And whereas our generation, like, things change so fast for us kind of along the course of life that, like, it was hard to keep up.
Right.
And Gen Z was more born into this where we had to adapt to it.
Right.
And I think there's something to be said for that.
I do too, but I always make noise. That's the only way I know how to live. I don't know how to sneak into a room. I would never be a ninja. You feel what I'm saying? Yep. I would always, for the sake of the analogy, be a part of somebody's task force.
Yeah.
I'm busting in the door. You probably heard me stomping up the driveway.
Right.
I don't know how to quiet down, and I'll always be that way.
Go stealthily.
Yeah, no, I can't. I'm sure I could if I tried, but it's something in you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's that pull that's like, nah, that's not the way things work.
Right.
You have to speak up, ask, do something.
It's funny you say that. So I was in this like role play scenario for an interview earlier today, and
don't miss those.
I jumped the gun a little bit and like transitioned from it was a weird scenario. Like, you had to introduce yourself to this person and also influence them to like change their mind on some big thing that they vehemently opposed. And I jumped the gun a little bit on it, and I'm like, but at the same time, I might do that anyways, because sometimes you got to catch somebody off guard to get their real opinion on stuff.
Right. Right.
And so to that point, like, you got to be willing to attack things head on. And I feel you on that. Like, stealth approach, not my style either. Like, I can build relationships, I can build trust, I can build that, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you why I'm here and what I'm here to do.
And I don't know, and at the deep down inside, I feel like I cheated too.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you fucking sneak, you slink, you just trying to slink your way into a position. No, let motherfuckers know what you're claiming.
Right. Well, and I mean, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it because that's exactly what I did in terms of professionally. And it worked until it didn't 4 months later. So, listen. But at the same time, that's me. And if you thought that was going to be an issue with that style, you never should have taken me there to begin with. Because at the end of the day,
out by now,
I am who I am,
right.
and I am going to be who I am going to be, and we are going to move forward because of it.
Right.
And get on board or get out the way.
Yeah, you can't. You're not going. Now, one thing you can not like me all you want, but one thing you will not deny is my results.
Right. And you don't have to like me. Respect is more important to me than likability. And to be frank, like, I'm good at building relationships. I can usually find common ground with most people. But if you don't like the fact that I go directly at an issue because it makes you uncomfortable, sorry to hear that. we'll get through that, too. You know what's funny?
No, I ain't got that to say. I don't speak about occupation.
Nah, I hear you. All right, dude. You got anything else?
Last thing I got, and I don't know why I was compelled to say it. Probably because I've been up since 4 a.m.
Oh, man.
I took a nap.
That's good.
Before the podcast. But I just, you know how, like, I don't know if it's the older you get or what it is, you just can't find deep sleep.
I hear you on that.
Like, yeah, I sleep. I probably get a good, 6 hours of a decent sleep. But I'm never down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Used to be down back in the day. And I remember Dr. Sebi, he said that you have to sleep with your head due north.
Okay.
And it's to the point that I've looked up due north in my house, or in my bedroom more specifically.
Is your bed oriented north-south, or is it oriented east-west?
It's
east-west, isn't it?
Mine's kind of like, it's definitely east-west, but it's like at an angle, you know what I'm saying? So in order for me to sleep due north, I would have to put my headboard in the corner of the room, and then in the opposite of where it's at now currently. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You'd have to I'd have to put the TV here, right?
Closer to the door and the bed closer to the back wall. But he was explaining, like, even when you look at babies, the reason why they always move in the bed or the crib is because they're looking for due north. Your nervous system gets pulled by, the magnetic force of the earth and all that, the gravitational pull to due north. So when you're not sleeping due north, it's pulling your body, in a way.
Interesting.
But if you're laying that way, then it's like you're an arrow to where it's not pulling anything at all because you're already facing that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they say that's why you get the best sleep in that due north.
It's, it's funny you're saying that because I'm thinking about the Bexley house was definitely an east-west orientation. This house is definitely a north-south orientation in terms of the way my bed's set up.
Right.
I sleep very well.
Right.
And I sleep very well in my own bed.
Right.
I get asked all the time, why don't you stay over? Because I don't want to.
And what's crazy is that's why I remember being in a relationship. And I remember saying I would kill to sleep in my own bed.
Mm-hmm.
And even now as an adult, I got a queen in my room. I really need a king, and I've been thinking about it too.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money that I don't have, clearly. But
hey man, if you just get a box spring, I got a split king. You can have the two mattresses.
Listen.
Just buy yourself a little frame.
I might have to. But I find myself even as a child, well, even like a child, I should say, I'll move in my bed. Like I'll rotate my body and I'll be laid horizontally across my bed instead of up and down.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's because of my body saying move north.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It might be. Good a reason as any.
And I feel like if I had a king, I could move my bed across to the other side and I would still be able to sleep diagonal or wherever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Might be worth looking into.
I think so too. I really do think so too. Motherfuckers is getting old and I ain't got sleep to lose.
No doubt.
I have no sleep to lose. You're supposed to be getting 8. That's what, you know what's funny is that's another video they had that Dr. Sebi was talking about. He said that they get you with sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
He said you're supposed to sleep 8 hours a day. You're supposed to work 8 hours a day.
You're supposed to have
out of a 24-hour day. How many hours is left? 8 hours. But your mind thinks I gotta check my phone. I gotta look at the TV. I gotta, hit the computer and put applications or review my emails. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? So when you factor in all that extra time, you don't have but 3-4 hours to yourself.
Right.
And that's if you're lucky.
Yeah. That's if you're not working 2 jobs. That's if you're not working 60 hours a week instead of 40.
And then spending time with your family, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even that, as much as you love it, that drains your battery as well.
It does. And I've actually been dealing with that a little bit lately because, 1, we're heading towards summer. 2, he's getting older. He's staying up later. And I like, trust me, I like spending time with my son. I enjoy spending time with my son. But I do also like, and I'm starting to miss, having 2 or 3 hours at the end of the day to myself.
Yes, but you're going to get that as he gets older.
Oh, anyway, absolutely.
I'm telling you, the closer he gets to 10 and beyond, he's not going to want to be bothered anyway.
Right. No, and
Dad, is it okay if we plug the game up in my room so I can just...
He'll start using the attic setup that we've had for a while, whereas now he just wants to play downstairs.
Right, right. He's going to be more, and that's natural, you know, for them to start becoming more private.
Yep, and independent and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You're going to get that, so
I'm enjoying it while it's not that. So.
You better. Before you miss it altogether.
Right. All right, sir. Well, speaking of getting the sleep that's necessary.
I don't really got much tomorrow.
No. I've got a busy one.
Nah.
So he's got a game, he's got a soccer game, and then I said okay to having friends over and for them to spend the night. So
that's what's up though.
Yeah, it'll be good. We'll do as long as the weather's good, we'll do a campfire and movie, and then, they can stay up till they put themselves to bed.
That's what's up. Now you're dad.
Right. I'll be sitting on somebody in the couch hiding them.
Listen, boy. He sold the shit out of that because I could barely breathe. I was like,
oh, good old AJ.
I loved him. I loved him to death. He was fun. He'll bust in the room on you at 3 a.m. and you think he in trouble. So he bringing in Nerf guns and bullshit.
I remember one of the first times like Shelby came over, and I went out and like said, "Hey, what's going on?" Like, and this was at my dad's house up on Tulane, up in Clintonville.
Right. That
And
wasn't where we was at.
no, I think we were still a champion for the most part.
Yeah, I think so too.
But actually, no, that hide and seek adventure was at his house in Clintonville.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and actually, I might be talking about the same like overnight or whatever. But I went and said, or got Shelby, like took his stuff inside or whatever, and we came back out, and my dad was up in that busted ass 2-story garage, and when we came back out, he's chucking freaking water balloons at us.
I think that was.
Just waiting for us to come outside. He's like, "All right, guys, when you're ready, just come on out. We'll do this little water war thing." And he's just chucking stuff down from the second story of the garage, like out this busted barn window type thing. And then he comes down, and when he runs out of ammo, he comes and gets the hose. And like, this was not a fair fight.
Cheater.
And that was back in the days of like the Super Soaker XP1000 or whatever.
Yeah, nah, he was a good time though.
Oh man. Good dude. I hope I'm as fun as him. Or at least come close every once in a while.
Yeah. You got big shoes to fill.
All right. I do. No doubt about that. Well, and so we will be off next week. Memorial Day weekend, camping trip, have a good time, and
I forget about that every year too.
That first week of June. So
I forget about that every year. I'm off Memorial Day.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck it, just come up, drive on up.
Shit, I ain't driving nothing on that.
I hear you. All right, well, you got anything? You got anything to take us out?
You know the drill.
Yes, sir.
Like, subscribe. Oh no, love everybody first.
Love everybody.
Then do your likes and subscribes.
Do us a favor, like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that stuff. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell an enemy.
Tell them motherfuckers to troll.
And with that, peace out, fools.